Orb presents The Revenge Society.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
Welcome to the end of Orb.
Yeah. And the beginning of our new Iger Sanction podcast.
Yeah, Iger Sanctioneers. Sanction to break the law, to uphold the law. That's what it means.
I don't think that. I think a sanction is just like it's a restriction. It's a limitation placed on somebody. Usually a government agency, but sometimes people.
You
it's
want
not
me to sanction
it's
them?
not. It's not an assassination.
It's what you do best. Yeah, it's a yeah. One of the more beloved characters in the Venture Brothers is based on one of the characters from a movie no one's heard of.
Yeah, and I was surprised when I watched the trailer that you sent over to me, because I thought surely this movie doesn't exist, so I didn't go looking for a trailer. I was surprised exactly how much Dragoon sounds like that character. It's just that guy.
They just stole him from the Iger Sanction. Classic thieves.
Yeah.
The Carlos Mencias of just straight up lifting things from the Iger. This episode, we're talking about the end of the Orb saga, not the end of the Orb podcast. Written by Doc Hammer, originally aired November 15th, 2009.
Yeah, and this deals with the return of Phantom Limb, now diminished and, let's say, pushed beyond his wit's end by the circumstances surrounding the Battle of Cremation Creek.
Yeah. Episode reads real differently knowing that Phantom Limb just kind of comes back as a normal dude that they don't do a whole lot with for a couple seasons.
Little bit. Yeah. Oh, and I wasn't sure because people change names in this all the time. He says, "My name is Revenge." Are we supposed to refer to him as Revenge for this?
He refers to himself as both, and then he creates the Revenge Society.
Yeah.
The real version of it. Not this version of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a fun episode. It's a little weird. Mm-hmm. There are little bits that I don't like, and there's lots to like. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing that I do like is the introduction of Dragoon and Red Mantle, who I love. Mm-hmm. Old men.
The two oldest members of the council. Yeah.
Something very funny about old men.
Yeah. Also implied to be Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper.
Oh, 100%. Like they are. I refuse to believe. We're not going to do a witch thing on this. I refuse to believe it was all in their heads.
Oh God. I wasn't even saying it was all in their heads. I'm not going to fucking relitigate the witch. People can listen to that episode and decide. All right.
It all happened, and this happened.
Yeah.
Like it says that, like, Doc's like, you could believe it didn't happen. I want you to believe it happened.
Yeah.
Why is this so hard to just buy into? It's so cool. Just allow yourself to be free.
It's a legal fiction, just like they never would have made the Sovereign not David Bowie if they didn't if nobody ever corrected them on the limits of parody law.
Yeah. It's so much better if they're the Big Bopper, and
I agree with you.
Funny.
I agree with you. It's very good. But you got to wonder, why didn't Phantom take Richie Valens? Like, did he have to?
Oh, racist.
Like, okay, there we go. All right.
Duh.
there was no. Yeah. But here's the thing: if you're gonna get like that, just kind of Latin music, there's more of a place for horns than that. A sousaphone could have worked.
Yeah, he didn't care though. His raging, his raging phobias.
Yeah,
just I love these characters so much.
just two cranky old men. It's very good.
Yeah, the voices are very good.
Yeah, and when we say okay, so I agree with Sanction. First off, Red Mantle, skinny old guy, kind of named after his like red cloak that he wears. He's an impression of Alec Guinness. One of them does regular Alec Guinness. The other one does drunk Alec Guinness. I forget who is who.
It's Doc. Doc does drunk Alec Guinness, and Jackson does sober
Yes.
Guinness.
Yeah. And Dragoon, kind of the bigger guy, he gets his head sewn onto Red Mantle's shoulder here, just in order to keep him alive. But he is based off of a character called Dragon from, again, a completely unheard of Clint Eastwood movie called The Eiger Sanction, which is an adaptation of a book called The Eiger Sanction.
Did you see who wrote the book? It's somebody with just one name.
I didn't. I mean,
Like it's based on the 1972 novel The Eiger Sanction by Trevanian.
Just that's the credit by Trevanian.
Yeah, Trevanian.
Yeah,
Weird.
Rodney William Whitaker. The thing that I was more fixated on watching the trailer was the fact that the female lead, a black woman, Trevanian saw fit to name her Jemima Brown.
Yeah.
Which if somebody today wrote that as parody, it would be too much. It's unacceptable.
It's incredible. Like,
Wait, the Eiger Sanction was followed by the Lou Sanction. LOO. LOO. So British bathroom. It's a.
Oh, that's quite the sanction.
Yeah.
Because you'd never know this from hearing about it, but the Eiger Sanction is referring to a mountain.
The Eiger is
it's
a
not
mountain.
A guy.
Clint Eastwood is an assassin who is sent to take out somebody who is like a mountain climber. Okay, is his target, and he has dispatched his handler is this guy called Dragon, who's just as fucked up as a person could be. Like, he's constantly getting a blood transfusion, like he's blind and all of that. Just a real, he
looks just like Dragoon from Venture Brothers,
and sounds just like Dragoon from the Venture Brothers. Just like take everything that is like fucked up about Blofeld and multiply it by 100, and you get Dragon, and then Dragoon.
With the incredibly unlikely series of events of they don't know the name of the target they have to kill, but they know what mountain he likes to climb. That's why it's the Eiger Sanction, because they have to go to Mount Eiger to sanction somebody. Everybody needs to watch the trailer. Like, they don't make media like that anymore.
They really don't. I love this. So, under critical reception for the Lou Sanction, some critics derided the Lou Sanction and the Eiger Sanction as, quote, pale James Bond derivatives, while Trevanian considered the books to be intentional Bond spoofs. He pulled a Tommy Wiseau on it. No, I
was kidding.
Jokes on you, I was kidding.
Joking.
Yeah.
Trevanian.
The puppet just did 1970s Puppet Master defense. I love it.
Yeah, so good. So that's where these characters came from. They're going to be incredibly important to basically the rest of the series.
I want to talk about the Eiger Sanction more.
Oh, really? Okay, let's do it.
No, I have nothing else to say, but it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. And we can't watch it for unfilmable. I feel like we could watch the Eiger Sanction between seasons of the Venture Brothers at some point, though.
We probably could.
If we wanted to do that. Like, if we wanted to slow it down so the show doesn't run out. That's like the season where we cover like a Johnny Quest episode.
Yeah.
The Eiger Sanction, Sharky's Machine.
Yeah. I mean, kinda.
Yeah. Like
I wouldn't be opposed to that, actually. Let us know if you're listening and you would be into that.
Yeah. If that's super stupid, you have to let us know.
I mean, if it's super stupid in a bad way, I kind of don't. If it's super stupid in a good way, let us know.
Yeah. Let us know honestly, but kindly, please.
Yes.
First episode, the Doc wrote this season, and this is Jackson's favorite Doc written episode of this season. The commentary, they talk about how they like it when the other person like emulates themselves. So this is a Doc, trying on a Jackson episode, in that there's like action in lots of different locations.
Yeah.
So Jackson likes it, and then Doc likes it when Jackson writes episodes where people just hang around and talk.
And that makes sense, because I think that what is necessary is the synthesis of their sensibilities, right? Yeah.
Agreed.
They're annoyed by fans who were angry about the anticlimactic ending of the Orb story. Just kind of ends here, and much like their annoyance at fans who wish that Brock was more front and center, I think that it is a mismatch between what people expect the show to be and what the show actually is.
Like that, similar to that though, it's also, I think they did it
Yeah.
to themselves.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that they can't be frustrated about it, but like, that orb episode does really play up.
It does.
It is a very natural thing to come out of that and think like it's going to be important. And they spend the whole commentary being like, oh, we're not going to make this long running thing about a mystical object like fucking Inuyasha. And I'm the number one person who's happy that Venture Brother isn't more like Inuyasha. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you can't like, it has a feeling of like mixed messaging a little bit.
Also, like, are you surprised that people were interested in this cool thing that you showed them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of like dermiting it. Like you're playing it off like, oh, it was always meant to be this. It was never really a thing. And I'm like, man, I heard the commentary where you talked about the riddle you came up with and your room of silent whistlers and shit.
Yeah.
You were so excited about that, Doc. Like you cannot play it off now. Like, oh no, it actually makes more sense that it doesn't happen. Like, come on, man. Like the commentary and book for this episode both read a little bit as like playing it off after the fact. There's like 6 paragraphs explaining the cold ending of this, the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
In a defensive way,
which is retconned later, but at this point, it reads as super unacceptable. It's the second time I use that word.
Yeah, like you guys did it.
Yeah,
you can't like, it's like, oh well, in retrospect, like, oh, he's just comforting him. Everybody likes to cuddle a small thing, and under no circumstances is that how it reads on the screen.
You cannot play with fire and then be upset when you can't be upset with people who are angry that the drapes got a little bit singed, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't, the ending of this is horrible. Like the post credits part, like I don't like that little bit. It's a cheap joke. I'm glad that they retcon it. I think that them kind of losing it, trying to cover up for it in the book and the is a bad look.
Yeah,
if you were going to do it, they should have just been like, yeah, we take this away later.
Yeah,
that
them
we recontextualize this later.
Them busting a gut is it's not a great look. In the commentary, I think Jackson even says like it's in line with the genre though for the MacGuffin to end up being nothing. The Maltese Falcon, spoilers for that 80-year-old movie or 90-year-old movie. In the movie it was fake. Everybody did all these terrible things to get this thing that turned out to be nothing. So like I'm amenable to that
genre.
Read. Well, I mean, but like, do
you think the Maltese Falcon is the same kind of genre as the Venture Brothers?
I think that they're riffing off of the same stuff drawn from the same well. That kind of like genre fiction stuff.
Yeah, but most of that genre fiction stuff, it is real. Like the Grail is real. Like a lot of those things, the fake MacGuffin of the Maltese Falcon is not the dominant thing of an old mystical object, I think. Also, and I think that it did work. They just broke it.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Also, the disappointment of it all fits with the theme of lots of stuff in the Venture Brothers too.
Yeah.
So that reads to me as well. Yeah.
Like that part is fine. I'm not saying I wanted the orb to do anything. I'm saying that they're trying to have it both ways.
Yes.
Like these post hoc, explanations for why the thing people complained about is actually good. Read as dumb to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing in the episode orb suggests anything that really happens in this episode.
Except for that one sound effect.
Except for the sound effect. It makes sense in retrospect, with the show that they're doing that's not going to become about this object. But they still engaged in making an episode that sure did suggest it.
Yeah.
There is a having your cake and eating it too element.
Yeah.
To these guys.
If they had underlined the disappointment, I think, in the text itself, and as opposed to letting their commentary materials kind of carry that, I think that would have been more confident and sold, and people would have understood. People would have understood.
Yeah, I agree, because it's a weird thing where, like, again, you can make the argument that the genre, there are things where it turns out to be a big nothing. Every character in this world believes it, though. you know, like it's everybody's losing it at the end when they do this thing. And then in the book, like you have Doc saying, "Oh, Phantom Limb didn't believe it was doing anything. It was pageantry."
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
don't
like,
say. Yeah, I don't
dude,
get
you
that.
animated everybody being very scared of it. Like, I don't know. There's something about it that I think is
Yeah,
shoddy.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not a bad explanation in terms of like solving the puzzle of why it doesn't make sense, but I don't think the execution's super good.
Yeah.
Personally.
One thing that I do like from the commentary is Doc revealing that he's afraid of backhoes.
Yeah.
They remind him of scorpions and dinosaurs.
Which apparently he's scared of scorpions and dinosaurs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very, very funny.
Yeah.
I love Jackson just being like, yeah.
Kids on site would be the sum of all of his worst fears.
Yeah. Can I get those kids on site? Can I get those dinosaurs on scorpions? Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of things to like about this episode.
Yeah.
It is a good one. So we start off, our cold open is very hot. We have Phantom Limb here, this guy in this kind of long coat dressed like a Bloodborne, triggering these traps with a toaster.
Yep.
We recognize this as the guild entry hall.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, he is.
And doing kind of shtick with the toaster.
He's sliding the toaster under the laser tripwires, and then the bread throws the toaster throws the bread out to a height that only happens either in cartoons or in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
also, how long is the cord on this toaster?
He's got an extension cord.
This is specific. Oh, does he have one in here? I thought it was specifically for like electrocuting yourself in the bath or something. You know, it seems to think it's like a novelty toaster for like electrocuting your neighbor.
It's designed specifically for suicides.
Yeah, throwing into your neighbor's the pool with your neighbor's kids from your kitchen.
Just into the hot tub with your neighbor and your cheating wife.
Yeah, and
or husband,
bunged up.
Yeah,
bunged up neighbor.
Yeah.
As this happens, we cut over to the intangible fancy, tricking some agents. I love the intangible fancy, being here. They hand him this bag. They think it's something valuable, but it has his lunch, and he swallows it before killing people. I love the intangible fancy getting some screen time. There.
Well, I love this isn't what we thought it was. What is it? It's like, oh, that's a sandwich and a 100 calorie pack of Oreos.
Yeah, miniature Oreos. Yeah. He's in trouble. He's getting set on trial for smuggling contraband into the thing. Like they're fine that murder is fine. But he did this. He's like, no, I didn't actually smuggle it in. They're talking about beheading him. What can they even behead him?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, for the first time, we see one of these silhouettes. We see Councilman 8. Like, oh man, we can see. Just by the way, I can see you.
Yep.
And then he gets attacked in the background.
Yes. By Phantom Limb. He wanted to get in here and lure the council out. Phantom Limb, who is calling himself, he says, "My name is Revenge." And, as they're trying to figure out, okay, so all right, Councilman 8's down. Are any of us in danger? They don't even know if they're in the same building.
Yeah, I love all the shtick with this. I love Vendetta, like, I am coming to help. And then just showing up at somebody else's room, not knowing where they're at. It's so good.
Yeah.
The guild is so stupid.
But the fight kind of breaks out into the trial to the chamber where Lim electrocutes Councilman. This is Dragoon giving him a heart attack. And Red Mantle was attacked as well here. Kind of both of them were in real trouble.
Yeah. We get our little credits, and then we cut over to Phantom Limb, who has Billy doing forced surgery.
Yes.
They die, you die. Doing this guy graft in a rundown mansion that will become important later. Creating a two-headed man.
Yeah.
Like so many movies.
You shouldn't have brought me back as a hackneyed premise.
Yeah. The all of the stuff is, what are you, Ray Harryhausen? So very good.
Oh man. And Lim is he's not all there. He is
yeah.
acting like he's surrounded by people. They're listening and laughing to him. Notably, he has a shitty prosthetic arm now. So he did lose, I believe it was his left arm in the battle at Cremation Creek. He should probably talk to the alchemist about that.
Yeah. He's got that
rotting invisible arm.
Yeah, to put up his butt.
Yeah.
Is the implication.
Yes. The implication. Yeah.
Billy's like saying, hey, we're even. Lim says, you took my limbs. And Billy's like, no, you took your limbs. Like, you built a machine. All I did was throw the switch.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back in the burlap sack, and I just want to wake up in my real bed.
I love that Billy is just always in the sack, and
Billy bag.
Yeah, he's in the Billy bag, and they say, like, it wasn't not for budget reasons, because if you have Billy in the bag, you don't have to lip sync.
You don't have to animate a Billy.
Yeah.
The one of my an early tabletop campaign with my current group memory was us finding, like, going off to rescue some Miller's kid or whatever, and finding him in a sack, and just like, we were kind of shits, and we were going through dangerous territory, so we didn't take him out of the sack. And then the kid was very scared about this and just thought we were other kidnappers. And then eventually we started threatening the kid with the sad sack, and then started threatening everyone with the sad sack. Like, you're gonna have to get in the sad sack. You want to get in the sad sack. Is very similar to the Billy bag.
Yes. But he comes to prefer it.
Yes. The Red Mantle wakes up and notices he's got this, head attached to him right now. Mm-hmm. And Phantom Limb introduced himself. Welcome to a live Dragoon. I'm Revenge.
And he says, hey, you should be grateful. And also, you're going to willingly cooperate with me once you hear what I have to say. So he is, he has abducted them, but he plans to sway them over to his position about what should happen with the guild.
None of that happens.
Nope.
He just says he's going to sway them, but none of that happens. That felt like an earlier draft of the script or something to me. Or just, Phantom Limb being cuckoo bananas.
Yes.
The Watch and Ward are going to go report this. So they go into David Bowie's house, based on the house from Logan's Run with a sunken couch pit. I love those. He runs and jumps behind the couch, and say pay no attention to the handsome ageless rock star hiding behind the couch. And we get some bad Bowie lore here. It's very frustrating. They say, like, listen, we all know who you are. Ours is totally an underrated album. That's like the most adult contemporary album that David Bowie's ever made.
Gary, it came out alongside Omicron, the Nomad Soul. How could it be bad?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And them, like, I was just like, man, like, Doc, you like Bowie? You really like Ours? This is about Ours, man. Come on. ... Hours is the name of that record. He, Bowie's like, oh, I always thought so, but it was a little too late. And they go, that would be Tin Machine, which is a good little barb to David Bowie's horrible rock band.
Okay.
From the 90s, Tin Machine. But Tin Machine happened to be 4 hours.
Happened 10 years before Ours, right?
Yeah. It's a weird pull. And I'm like, yeah, Tin Machine sucks. But also, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And then they get good Bowie lore later, because they're like, oh, when you tell them what happened, they're like, oh, Red Mantle and Dragoon have been abducted. They got into the Chamber Sub Rosa. So they got past the Diamond Dogs. Surely would have heard the chant of the ever circling skeleton family, which is the last track on Diamond Dogs, and is such a weird fucking 5/4 chant about a skeleton family that ends that album. It makes no sense. So full of good and bad Bowie pulls.
Yeah.
This little scene
is Chamber Sub Rosa. Is that a Bowie thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know what the Chamber Sub Rosa is.
It literally just means secret chamber, but I didn't know if that was a guild thing or if that was also a Bowie pull. I recognize Diamond Dogs from Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm more here for Eon and the Worm Jets. So
the Worm Jets are really good.
It's a good album.
It's a great album.
Yeah,
it's an iPerfect album.
Yeah.
So, Bowie sends them off to, go tell Amon I'm on tour, go take care of this stuff, and then turns into an eagle and flies away to the labyrinth noise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dense. So Dragoon and Mantle are bickering over this book that they're reading. It's the Charter. It's the Charter, which has been stolen from the Chambers of Brosa. And Phantom Limb says, I'm looking for information about my grandfather. He was the founder of the guild. And since you two are the oldest living members of the council, you would have information on him. You can read this charter, and basically what you're saying is like, I'm the rightful heir. Find me the details.
Yeah. They do this flashback. Something that a joke that does not work for me is them mixing up 1659 and 1959.
Yeah.
Like, what does that add? It's just this weird little bit, and I don't understand it. It's not a joke. It's not anything. The whole thing is that, they say 1659, so they're dressed like old timey medieval guys at first.
But they're loading cargo into a jet.
Yeah. They're saying they're musicians, singers. He's like, I was a singer. You were just talk singing.
Yeah.
Because he was inventing hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense when it's corrected. No, it's 1959. Billy corrects them, and of course they say no, I didn't misspeak. Of course I said 1959, which is how a cranky old man would respond to that, and he would double down or he'd ignore it, right? It turns out this is the day the music died. The Dragoon is the Big Bopper, which the Big Bopper inventing hip hop. No, thank you.
The guy did Chantilly Lace. Oh, baby, that's what I like.
Just when you could have a whole act based around telephones. Those are new and hot, right?
Hello. And then Red Mantle as Buddy Holly.
Yes.
The drawings of them are very good. And Phantom Mouse kidnapping kidnapping rock stars to make a rock and roll orchestra where he Sousaphone.
Yeah.
He played the Sousaphone here, trying to make it sound cool.
And getting really, really angry that wasn't working, right? He figured he could make the rock and roll lead sousaphone work, and it didn't happen. But this is kind of an explanation for why the guild seems to be this kind of clearinghouse for washed up rock stars, right? And Phantom Limb is, he's not into that side of it. He thinks that there should be some, should be more dignity to that, because we used to be.
It's not just that.
We used to be philosophers and all that. Aleister Crowley, right?
Yeah, and exactly, like Oscar Wilde and shit.
Yes.
They don't really do anything else with this old rock star, so it ends up being somebody who's not Bowie, and then somebody who is definitely Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper, but that's it.
Yep.
It ends up being really weird that Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper, one of them gets earth powers, and the other one is like a super strong guy who gets sewed together. Billy chimes in just like, hey, don't shoot me or anything, but I know where the orb is.
Yeah.
It's in the safe at the Venture compound.
Yeah. Because Phantom Lynn says, we used to have a purpose protecting the orb. And Billy was like, okay, well, if this will get me out of here, I can tell you where it is. And remember at the end of Orb, Rusty had put it in the safe in that cool little pool room that they have.
Yeah. If my dad thought I shouldn't have this, maybe I shouldn't have it.
Yes.
Like he did know how to do this. We cut over to Sergeant Hatred crying in the bathroom. Weird little bit. This is really well animated. I almost never noticed that, but Sergeant Hatred on the ground here is very well animated.
Yeah. A lot of very good expression work going on. They're really selling the agony of this.
Rusty's trying to get him to come out of there. Like, number one on my list of inappropriate behaviors is whatever this is. Like, you work for me.
Yeah.
But Hatred has fallen off the wagon because Hank hates him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Hatred needs a family. He needs a unit. Right.
Yeah.
And he's
desperately.
It is. That's the only thing that gives him purpose. And Hank has given him nothing, and denying him that purpose. And so, it says like, oh, he hates me. And Rusty's like, well, you've got hatred tattooed on you. It's like, well, I've got other tattoos. I've got Calvin hugging Hobbes on my inner thigh.
It's so good. He's like, I got Calvin and Hobbes on my thigh, and Calvin isn't weeing on anything. He's hugging Hobbes. Like, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
I love Sweetheart Sergeant Hatred.
Yeah.
Rusty has Dean. He's like, he always listens to you. I love this. The implied history here. Like, Dean's just done this a million times. Walks off. Is like, this is your sponsor. What's step 4?
You're not my fearless moral inventory. Is this fearless? Are you taking an inventory?
Yeah.
No, he's in there drinking. He's in there drinking
Yeah.
CVS generic Axe body spray.
Yeah, just really, really off the wagon here.
Yeah. But no, you got to take your shot. Like you need to go take your shot because you need to stay out of the dark place. Like just talking more than a 16 or 19-year-old kid should have to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of labor that Rusty just put onto his son here. Hank comes in and says, hey, the compound's swarming with guild guys, with bad guys. Hatred busts out of the room, orders Dean into the panic room, and then sees an opportunity to help Hank. You know, Hank would want to help old Uncle Hatred stop the bad guys.
Yeah.
So nice little Hank and Hatred moments in this episode as well.
Yeah.
The Hatred and Hank stuff and the Doc and Dean stuff in this are all pretty pitch perfect, I think. So we cut over to Red Mantle and Dragoon practicing controlling their bodies so they can run. You know, good, it was my body. There's this great little bit where he's like, I was standing around with my dick in my hand. It was my dick. Which would be if you got your head sewn onto somebody, the etiquette around whose genitals they are would get real complicated.
I mean, I don't like eventually you I think after enough time you would come to, so the famous conjoined twins,
Like a stepdad.
like a stepdad. But the famous conjoined twins, they had separate wives and many kids. You know, so you know they were not sharing a penis, but you know, kind of a bit of a, you know, it's in the same zip code, if not the same neighborhood, right?
Yeah, like that's the awkwardness of needing to do dick stuff attached to somebody else, but not with somebody else's dick.
Yeah,
you know, like, and you would feel it, like they established that. So like, let's say, you know, you and I get. Well, let's take two strangers.
I was hoping you wouldn't.
let's say Jeff and Chris.
Okay.
Ross get attached at the head.
Okay.
And one of them jerks off, and it's the original owner of the dick. The head that's attached to can feel it.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah,
you know, that'd be real. Like, do you look over at the other person?
I mean,
do you close your eyes and kind of just like look away? Like,
unbroken eye contact.
Yeah. Does that make it better? Like, the whole thing is just extremely the sexual politics of owning one body. That's crazy.
I think that this is what this is what science fiction exists to do, which is to
challenge us.
Yeah, to challenge our existing morals.
Carl Sagan is crying in heaven thinking about this conversation.
Oh, different. You want to talk about contact, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Anywho,
but this is where we learn about the Revenge Society, about the team, and we're
so funny.
We're introduced. I love how childish it is. Obviously, it's below the dignity of Phantom Limb, but like it circles around to being like innocent and cute.
Yeah, especially later when you have with wisdom, like it's very cute. So he's got a coffee mug that says wisdom on it because the named wisdom, the fix-it man tech guy, also the spiritual heart of our team.
Yeah.
Sorry, wisdom, namaste.
Yeah, well, like but the soundtrack it plays the Asian riff, the like that's a weird note before he says the spiritual heart of our team. So the fact that Phantom Limb loaded him with racial baggage is very fun.
It's a cup of a specific descent. You know, what a wise cup.
Oh my God, Gary. Is it because the bottom of the cup says made in China?
Oh, that would make sense.
I mean, I hope that's not insensitive in any way, but like that's all I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking just because of like spiritualism,
Yeah.
wisdom and spiritualism, and it being like a
Yeah,
a guru
tropey
kind
thing.
of,
Yeah.
tropey thing. But also that would make sense.
Yeah.
If that was the idea, I feel like they would have said it.
They could have underlined that. I
Like
don't want
the
to
show does that kind of thing, but Doc doesn't really do it.
Yes.
Like Doc tells.
Yeah. I don't want to be the person who bonfireside chats that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it might be.
Yeah, maybe.
Totally.
Yeah.
The toaster's name is Chuck.
Mm-hmm. He's the muscle.
He's the muscle, known for his mastery of the nunchaku.
Mm-hmm.
He also disables traps, and he's not humble about it.
Yeah.
And then Lady Nightshade, which is this high-heeled shoe that this is his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Her skills are obvious, but hands off, she's spoken for. He's like petting the shoe.
We get a cutaway later. I'll just say this now because it's more appropriate here. He stole it from Dr. Girlfriend. He stole it from Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch. She's looking for it later.
And it's a very specific brand of shoe that means nothing to me.
Yes. Yeah.
That I'm sure was impeccably researched.
But one of them says, "This man's a Fruit Loop," and he says, Fruit Loop as a fox." So,
like I'm really here for Red Mantle and Dragoon just being like, "This is cuckoo banana."
Just burn the man down. Yeah,
declarative statements about this, and I love Billy in the bag being like, "Why can't I hear anybody?" Because you're sane. Yeah, very good.
Oh man. So, Dragoon and Red Mantle will not cooperate until the threat of murder is placed upon them.
Yeah, very good. Hatred and Hank are in the security monitor room, and Hatred says that the guild forces are here to get him. At first, he thinks it's going to be because of his, his predilections, which he kind of explains here first, but it's because he went over to the bad, to the good side, gave him a bunch of secrets. But he explains he gives Hank a version of the birds and the bees talk. Some birds like eggs, some birds like other birds, and he's like, oh, like Uncle Gentleman. Exactly. But some birds like eggs, and eggs are small and can't defend themselves, so they have to take experimental drugs to not like eggs.
Yes.
I don't want to like eggs. And
Hank's response, again, I love the way that Hank's vocal performance evolves as he just gets more over it. But he says, I already know you used to be a pedestrian.
It's very funny. And then one of my favorite lines of the series, where Hatred's like, I like bees too. I've had my share of honey. And Hank's like, so these guys are here to kill you because God forgot to?
That's fucking cruel.
Such a mean thing to say.
That is so fucking cruel.
Yeah, and pedophile.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it or anything like that, but it's such a good line. It's so mean.
Yeah, it's a mean thing to say to somebody is trying.
Yeah, and who wants nothing more than your approval.
Yeah,
it is the opposite of such.
Yeah.
Hank posits they're not actually here for you. They're probably here for me because they heard about how Batman I am. And I love, again, just sweet Hatred though, where he's like, you are so Batman.
Yeah, talking him up, seeing an opportunity. Yeah.
He just wants to be a good stepdad.
He does.
Hank's being a bit of a crumb bum here. He has a plan. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah. So Watch and Ward ring the doorbell for the front of the compound. They're here to basically they're here to protect. So hey, we got a rogue agent. Things are pretty bad. But Hank and Hatred are dicking around with them. Kind of doing some prank phone call stuff. Yeah.
Very cute. Rusty and Dean are in the panic room where Dean is having a little heart attack in the corner like he likes to do, where he's puked on his knees. They've got some spit up on him. And I love Rusty just totally understanding, you just baby burped on your speed suit. There's not a super scientist alive who hasn't coughed a little acid on his speed suit. He's gone with a wet nap. I have a bunch of these lemony little miracles in my pocket.
Why do you think they're made of polyester?
It's very, very cute.
Yeah.
And this is a sweet bonding moment. Dean's like, oh, you're not ashamed, and Rusty's like, no, I'm used to this. And this is where we get the great little bit of lore of the Action Man waking him up every day, putting a gun up to it, right up to his head with no bullets, hearing the click because it's right next to his head and saying, not today, Rusty, not today. Fucking action, man.
Yeah, just dry firing into probably like a 5-year-old boy.
Incredible.
Yeah.
God, I love the action, man.
Oh man,
So horrible.
Just getting used to the possibility that you might die. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of men trying to love in the series, and
Yep.
just nobody succeeding at it.
No, because because they're trying to. A little bit. They're trying to make them into versions of themselves.
The Twitter thing I saw where it was like, I think you should leave as a horror show about male emotions. Venture Brothers, also a horror show about male emotions.
Yeah.
In the bedtime stories mold. Just men trying. And failing.
But this turns into a pep talk. He's, trying to cheer Dean up, saying like, yes, this is hard, but, think about what you get in exchange. You get to live the life of a super scientist, right? It's not without a benefit, which, obviously Rusty doesn't believe entirely, or he sometimes believes and sometimes doesn't, depending on how he's feeling about being in the game or not. But in the moment, it is a good thing for Dean to hear because it gets him out of his panic attack.
Well, it's like Rusty has to believe that a little bit to maintain his ego.
Yes.
Like Rusty being this conflict between being heavily abused, but also needing to maintain his sense of self against all odds.
Yeah.
Dean says, what do they want out there? And he's like, well, what do they want? So they're going to go out and find out. They're going to do some scouting as boy adventurers. Up on the ridge, we got Lim and the others in the car driving up. Lim, orders them to sneak into the compound with Billy there. And Dragoon and Red Mantle push back. Like, we haven't been outside in years. There's teenage gangs.
They're going to mock us
for being out style. Our trousers. Being out of style.
Yeah. Oh man, good. I just rode to the fear of roving teenage gangs. Not that they're going to hurt you or rob you, but that they're going to mock you. I love it.
Mock your trousers, yeah. They're mono trouser, 2-headed mono trouser.
And the 2-headed cloak, which was tailored for them very quickly.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's very cute. Watch and Warder at the door, trying to figure out ways to get the Vengers to open up. Like, what if we, when Braveheart, like, send in naked, and they're like, oh, the eunuch division might gross people out, but the ladies auxiliary, that'd be hot. And Watch interrupts this conversation to say that the Sovereign is here, and he brought Eon. It was obviously supposed to be Brian Eno, but they couldn't say that.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's here is because they say, here come the warm jets. The titular Brian Eno album.
The debut. Debut Brian Eno album. Yeah.
His 3-album master run of the late 70s.
Yeah. And Rusty and Dean, they see this, they're riding around on the conveyor belt. Rusty tells Dean, pretend to be laundry, become laundry, feel the grass stains.
Pretend to be laundry. Dean says, how did they get past the lasers? And it's because he had to turn them off because Orpheus got shot mowing the lawn.
He was suing them.
Get past the locks, and it's because Hank locked himself in the laundry room after watching Dog Day Afternoon. Again, very cute.
Yeah.
We cut over to Hadra and Hank riding their hover bikes through the tunnels. Hadra's like, we've been on the shortcut for a while, and Hank says, don't worry, this plan will finally come together once we get the ice cream cake and the stack of Playboys. And Hadra, not being an idiot, knows what's going on. He's like, you wouldn't be playing your old Uncle Hadra just to get everything you want. Hank says, no, don't you trust me? He's like, of course I trust you. You were trained by Brock. He's as honest. I worked with that man. He was incredibly honest.
Yeah.
And basically, psychology's Hank, Brock wouldn't want you to be lying.
Yeah. Brock's the most Batman person I've ever seen, and you want to be Batman, so you wouldn't lie.
Yeah.
That kills him.
And then Hank's like, okay, I forgot about part of my plan. Let's head back.
Yeah.
Cute little, really good little Hank and Hatred moment.
So we cut into the compound, and we have the lounge. Red Mantle and Dragoon are there with the Billy bag. Billy's just in the sack, and one of the Go Blackout operatives comes in and holds them up. But Dragoon throws Chuck the toaster. There's like a little bit of a standoff before Dragoon just decides to solve the problem, knocks him out immediately, and then they open up the safe and grab the orb.
Well, it's also, this is the beginning of them kind of being buddies.
Yeah.
He's like, he was the muscle of the organization, and they start chuckling about it because their relationship ends up being this very long running sweet thing eventually. And the seeds of it are here where they're not just resenting each other.
Yeah.
They're gonna have, they're like, you carry the orb, I'll carry Billy. And Dragoon's like, I just learned to form a fist. I shouldn't be carrying this bomb or whatever. And Billy is knocked out because he got dropped. He got hit on the head.
Yeah.
And this is also them having fun. They're like, what is this, an episode of Gilligan's Island? Everybody falls unconscious in one hit. I bet when he wakes up, he'll have amnesia. They're just goofing with each other because they like each other.
Yeah.
In common.
They're falling into the 21-20 24 dynamic. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet buddies.
In contrast, though, a relationship that is frayed and broken. Phantom Limb is up on the ridge. He's looking through some binoculars, trying to find the Sovereign, because he saw the worm jets coming in too. But he turns on Wisdom, accusing I can't see him out there. Maybe you, the mug, you're the shapeshifter.
Yeah. Which is, I like that we don't see it, but just he smashes it.
Yes.
Later. Back on the conveyor belt, Rusty is explaining how, villains have their weaknesses. They have goggles, they have no peripheral vision. If they have a helmet with a big piece of punctuation on it, they can't turn around very quickly. So you need to stay on their side view. Just little boy adventurer tips. Yeah.
But you use your small stature, wiriness, and wiliness to your advantage, young boy adventurer. Yeah.
I love that they get this little bit where they run into an elderly version of Rusty at the end, claiming to be him from the future. We had to finish the time machine here, and then just warps back. It's like, I'm just fucking with you. It's David Bowie.
Because of course, how could you resist the temptation?
If I were David Bowie, I'd be everybody from the future.
Oh, of course, yeah.
They showed this. I remember seeing this in the trailer for season 4 when I was watching the show contemporaneously, and thinking there was going to be this time travel plot. And they talk about this in the book or the commentary. I can't remember which one. How in the little sizzle reel they had this, and then they cut over to a psychedelic Deanscape from Perchance the Dean, and it really implied there being a time portal.
Yeah.
And people were like, when are they going to get to the episode with the time portal? When it turned out it was just clever editing.
Yeah. It was showing Dean being coronated as the leader of the guild, like just all these big implications that end up being one-off jokes, and they say we do it to ourselves all the time too, because when they first cut the promos for season 1, they basically used every action scene with a Brock, and that attracted an audience who thought the Venture Brothers should be an action show, mostly starring and concerning the violent adventures of Brock Sampson.
Yeah. Again, they kind of did it to themselves.
Yes.
This whole thing. Hatred and Hank are in Billy's found the Billy bag in the pool room here as they're going through, and Hatred's like, oh, it's a trap. It's a young boy. Hank tries to warn him against opening it, saying it might be a bunch of scorpions that have trained themselves to look like a man. And he says he trained them to, he says to hold cocktail rifles.
Yeah.
Cocktail rifle, not a thing. I mean, I think it's just Hank imagining it like a cocktail sword.
Or cocktail weenie. Either of those kind of things. I really enjoyed the idea that Hank was just like, oh, cocktail must just mean miniature. Right? Yeah.
I thought it was for sure. It was that was actually, there were little miniature rifles that people had in drinks or something. But no, this is just Hank being Hank.
Yeah. I'm sure some dire bachelor party has featured those at some point.
Yeah.
Just a little toast points served on a Maxim magazine, skewered with a.
Yeah, cocktail rifles.
Yeah, with cocktail rifles. I hate it.
Yeah, like the whole thing with Ted Cruz cooking bacon on the side of a gun.
Jesus Christ.
Gun masculinity.
Ugh. Hatred's kind of right though. He looks inside and he loses his composure when he sees an unconscious Billy. They're preying on my weakness. This is notwithstanding the fact that he has seen Billy before and has been intrigued by the loophole that Billy Quizboy provides to him.
Yes. Also in a Doc episode, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Doc was into pursuing that idea. he's really shipping Hatred and Billy His Boy for some reason. He loved Billy His Boy. The Hatred. So we go over. Dragoon and Red Mantle are there with Brian Eno. They're dressed up like Brian Eno with that ridiculous haircut that somehow became popular with girls. Like I've seen that, like roughly that haircut.
Yeah.
On a couple of like punk ladies. I'm like, man. Phantom Limb is making them read his introduction. They're saying, we didn't write this crap, but it's him declaring himself the rightful, head sovereign of the guild.
Yes. Yeah. Lim is displeased by how this goes, so he shows off Lady Nightshade's power. He throws like a boomerang, kind of hitting everybody and, stunning them a little bit. This is where we get the cutaway to Dr. Mrs. the Monarch looking for her missing high heel.
Yeah. And of course, the fact that this operates like a boomerang, like Dr. Mrs. the Monarch probably has femme fatale, lady items that have secret James Bond functions.
Yeah. It just comes with the territory.
Yeah. The Sovereign shows up and, Phantom Limb is like going to threaten him. Isn't it the thin white douche, pulls out, the broken wisdom mug on accident, and then actually pulls out the orb, there. And the Sovereign says, okay, I will hand the guild over to its rightful heir, Dean Venture. Basically saying like, explaining this thing that it feels like would have shown up in the book, the charter. If this was like, I don't really understand the mechanics of what the Sovereign does here.
Yeah.
Right. So this is going to sound like me being real nitpicky, but again, I feel fine about it because if the creators are going to go into these areas where they're going to get real lore heavy, like I think they're inviting a certain amount of, taking it seriously.
Yeah.
When they take it seriously. So like, what was Phantom Limb thinking during this? Was he just wrong that his father or his grandfather founded the guild?
I think that he was wrong about his grandfather who holds the, like, which of the schism, like which side of it was still the rightful guild. So like, yeah, Phantoma broke off and started doing this big band thing. The other guild was still there, and that's what the charter applied to, I think, is what it was. Yeah. And so
it's just weird that he gets this far into it, and the Sovereign's plan is to be like, nah, our side's legit.
Yeah.
And then just does it. And of course, like, the Phantom Limb doesn't buy this. Like, it doesn't do anything to Phantom Limb. Right. Like, him crowning Dean as the ruler of this, and then Dean giving it to the Sovereign is like a cute little piece of pageantry, but it doesn't actually affect what Phantom Limb does at all. Because Phantom Limb immediately pulls out the orb and everyone is scared of it. Except for Rusty. Yeah, except for Rusty, who's over all this stuff. Yeah. But the Sovereign's plan makes no sense because the Sovereign is scared of the orb. So like, what was his plan here?
I don't know.
Just to get blown up. Don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. I think that he was hoping that the orb was not produced, that the orb was still safe inside.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose he didn't think that because the orb comes out. He pulls out the orb in front of him, and then he says, "Well, I just have to do this thing," and pulls out Dean.
They came here to stop Phantom Limb from getting the orb. They didn't know that he sent people to the inside to get it. Right. He had no reason to. He had no reason to assume that the orb was there. So that would not have informed his decision to come out onto the lawn.
No, I'm not talking about his decision to come on the lawn. I'm talking about his decision to crown Dean and have Dean crown him.
Yeah.
He does it as if in answer to pulling out the limb or the orb.
Does he do it? Yes, he does. That does come after it. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense it doesn't answer it.
I don't know.
Yeah. It kind of falls apart under scrutiny. And it's not tons of scrutiny or anything either. I didn't spend all night with a corkboard.
Yeah.
To figure this out. It just doesn't make very much sense.
Yeah.
It's cute. They play the music from Excalibur when they knight him. Sweet little reference.
The Wagner piece. Yeah. Wagner.
Yeah. Yeah. A movie where somebody has sex in full plate mail. So Phantom Limb says he's going to activate the orb, And as he tries to, he cannot, and we get a flashback to the Zeppelin scene.
Yeah.
Sandow didn't kill Lloyd Venture; he just broke the orb.
Yeah.
And we get a repeat of the joke where he's like, "How dare you?" And he's like, "I was supposed to kill you." And he's like, "Well, then that's okay then." Similar to the joke with the Red Mantle and Dragoon with Phantom Limb earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lloyd went on to sire the rest of the line, and the orb that we see, is just whatever was put back together, all function kind of removed from it because it was broken, right?
Yeah. Again, I have no particular problems with it being broken, on its own.
Yeah.
So Lim gets captured here, and Red Mantle picks up the orb. I love this bit because 2 heads are better than one. Just he's like, what is that in reference to? Nothing.
I've just been waiting for it all day.
Been waiting for an opportunity all day and got sick of waiting.
It's
very
just
cute.
It's just what you say. Just that fun.
I would say it all the time.
Yeah,
if I were in that situation.
Yeah, and like it would start as a joke, but then we just get deadly serious, and then
deadly serious. In fact, 2 heads are often worse than one.
Yeah, sometimes you go if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to become a vaudeville act, go with 2 heads. Right?
It's true.
Yeah.
And then we get the horrible post-credit scene where Billy wakes up in Hatred's bed. Hatred's like shirtless, good morning, sunshine. And Billy says, I want to go back in the bag. And the book just has like no less than like 10 paragraphs or something explaining why this is non-sexual.
Yeah. No, this is a non-consensual sex joke.
Yeah, it is a rape joke that you guys made and then later retconned.
Yeah,
it is more dignified to just live with it.
Yep.
And that's the episode, which again, very good. Like I love all the relationship stuff in this. Some of the plot stuff seems dumb to me, but all the pairs are really good in this. Yeah,
no, it's very good, and it's. It's sad because which direction it's going to go, but Rusty trying and succeeding at bonding with Dean a little bit is nice to see. It is good to see that like if he gets off of his ass, even if it's for selfish reasons, it does help. It can work. Yeah.
Yeah. Effort counts.
Yeah.
And it's sweet to see. Yeah, I like it. It's a good one. Not as good as the next one.
Yeah. What is the next one? It's self-medication. Yes. We got that
episode.
We got a couple of good ones coming up, so we're doing fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a guest for next episode. That's going to be Nick Daniel from Latchkey Kingdom.
Yeah,
the webcomic, illustrator of the Worlds of Power books. Power Worlds books.
Yeah.
So, enjoy. Look forward to that. What else can they do, Cole?
If they want to, they can go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv, kick us a few bucks a month and get the episodes a week early. Also get access to bonus shows, mostly about video games, but we got one about horror movies that is on a real good streak right now. It's called Unfilmable, and a bunch of other stuff. Thanks to everybody who has gone and done that so far.
We appreciate you. And until next time,
go Team Venture.